It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
The Bible is a collection of 66 books penned by 40 authors over thousands of years. More than a precise historical account and good rules to live by, the Bible is an integrated whole, which bears evidence of supernatural origin in every detail. Many have attempted to discredit it, but as science and knowledge increase, it has always been vindicated. Archaeology began in the 19th century but came to full force in the 20th. In the 19th century, Charles Darwin's speculations about an alternative to the biblical account of creation, along with the father of communism, Karl Marx's materialist propaganda, which stated that matter is all there is and always has existed, began to erode away at the biblical truth in the minds of many people. With the dawn of the 20th century, critics of the historical accuracy of the Bible are confronted with physical evidence attesting to the truthfulness of the biblical accounts. As author John Elder comments, little by little, one city after another, one civilization after another, one culture after another, whose memories were enshrined only in the Bible, they were restored to their proper places in ancient history by the studies of archaeologists. Nowhere has archaeological discovery refuted the Bible. Let's begin our journey in the very first chapters of Genesis. Although modern physics has vindicated the Genesis creation account, can this account possibly be supported by archaeological evidence? The Old Testament, or Torah, comes to us from the Jewish people. There were no true Hebrew people until Abraham's grandson Jacob became the father of the 12 tribes. So first we must consider that if the biblical account is true, the book of Genesis was dictated to Moses by God at a much later date. In fact, after the worldwide flood of Genesis 7. So this evidence would likely be found amongst the most ancient people known in history as the Sumerians. There are several cuneiform tablets describing creation. Although the Sumerians retained many details of the creation account, they were corrupted into polytheistic belief, perhaps from the intervention of rebellious angelic beings as recorded in Genesis 6, in addition to the embellishment of oral tradition. However, even in this 19th century BC account of creation, there are parallels to the Genesis account. Sumerian. And daylight shone forth. Genesis 1:3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Sumerian. The Lord hastened to separate heaven from earth. Genesis 1:6-8. And God said, "Let there be an expanse between the waters to separate water from water." So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse and the water above it. And it was so. God called the expanse sky. And there was evening and there was morning, the second day. Sumerian. The Lord put the first human in the brick mold, and Enlil's people emerged from the ground. Genesis 2:7. The Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living being. This tablet also introduces the Sumerian idea that the hoe, one of their basic agricultural tools, was given as a gift from the gods, a concept which ties nicely with God's own account given to Moses in Genesis 2:15, that the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. The Bible records that sin entered the world when Adam and Eve were tempted by Satan in the form of a serpent. In Sumer, archaeologists unearthed an ancient seal depicting the very sequence of events described in the book of Genesis. This find, known as the Temptation Seal, is in the British Museum. It dates to the 3rd millennium before Christ, some 5,000 years ago. This artifact shows a man and a woman viewing a tree, and behind the woman is a serpent. the man and woman are both reaching for the fruit of the tree. Another Sumerian seal, dated 3500 BC, now stored in the Museum of the University of Pennsylvania, shows events that took place after Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit. The seal depicts naked figures of a male and female, bowed in humiliation, being driven out, followed by a serpent. This seal also describes the story of the expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Genesis 3:23. Therefore the Lord sent Adam out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. Now, atheists have argued that the Genesis account of the temptation was a fabrication by Jewish writers. Yet these graphic portrayals of events described in Genesis existed thousands of years before the critics believed the books of Genesis were written. These artifact seals demonstrate that the earliest human civilization knew the essentials of the temptation incident which happened at the dawn of creation and resulted in the loss of immortality.